The Long Dark, in my opinion, has some of the best OSTs of all video games. Most of them deliver a sense of loneliness, solitude, hope, or danger. While taste in music is subjective, I have been wanting to share my thoughts on what I think are the best themes in terms of conveying such circumstances and feelings in the game. Let's get into it. The fifth place goes to the Ash Canyon OST. Ash Canyon was first announced along with the 2020 Halloween event and the Escape the Dogwalker challenge. It is also worth mentioning that the Dogwalker is finally banished in Ash Canyon. The creepy theme of the region does a great job of conveying the lore of the region, although it is not disclosed what caused the forest fire that burned all the trees in the valleys of Ash Canyon. For anyone with a fear of heights, or just a beloved safe state, this theme will certainly send shivers down your spine when you cross one of the narrow bridges that connect the higher parts of the region. One could also argue that the use of the bass-heavy instruments refers to the depths of the gold mine. More about mines later though. We switch from a regional theme to one from Wintermute, the yet unfinished story mode of The Long Dark, and I look forward to finally playing it myself once episode 5 is out. The Crossroads Elegy OST played in the menu screen when episode 3 released, and although I cannot connect it to the events of episode 3 because I haven't played it yet, the soundtrack absolutely goes to the core. I feel like this could be the trailer or announcement music for Black Frost or pretty much any survival game, or even something like Sekiro. This theme to me delivers especially well on one of the aforementioned traits: hope. The rhythmic strokes on the guitar makes it sound like it accompanies the march through the icy wilderness. The piano inserting later and playing a different melody gives me the sense of hope for change and that maybe not all is abandoned and lost. The latest region of the game comes with one of the most well-fitting themes of them all. You can tell that the song is trying to tell a story. This might contain spoilers for the Tales questline, so skip ahead if you like. If you listen closely, you can hear a layer of what sounds like wind in the part that leads up to what sounds like a rock slide and abruptly ends the call. Sundered Pass is known for its avalanches and rock falls. We then get what sounds like the climax of the theme, just like we climb one of the paths to the weather station. What follows is what almost sounds like a warning. A warning from the weather station informing us about incoming bad weather. Maybe a blizzard? The warning then intensifies in a higher pitch. We then switch to the ending sequences of the Tales questline, where we ascend to High Peak to follow Riddiger's tracks, who says he had to get up there to get a signal out. We there find a transmitter and listen to this. The signal waves flowing across the region, reaching the highest altitudes before crashing against the mountains that are too high and tell us there is nothing that can be reached beyond the mountain range. All before another warning from the weather station that abruptly ends the theme, leaving us with nothing. A good time to go back to the very beginning. The main menu theme we all know and love, starting out calm and building up over the whole course of the song. Now this song is one I have listened to many times, and I know that I used to just stay in the menu screen just to listen to it. This one isn't connected to a region or much lore, but it doesn't need to be. It introduced the first episode of Wintermute, and it's the start of The Long Dark becoming an unforgettable experience for all survival enthusiasts. It sets the scene for what's coming in the quiet apocalypse, and it conveys the sense of loneliness and combines it perfectly with a hopeful ascension only to be shut down by a menacing violin that could stand for the inevitability of death. After all, the question prompt whenever you start a new run is, how long can you survive? My personal favorite of all the music in the Long Dark is the Zone of Contamination music. From the start, this eerie theme pulls me into the life of a worker in the mines. There is this bell-like sound in the beginning that could very well be the cue to start my shift down in the mines. I go to the place where I can overlook my workplace, and the sheer magnitude of the excavation site puts a hole in my stomach. I have no choice but to follow the boss's orders and enter the mine from the concentrator. Now listen to this part. There are 7 of these eerie tones that stay the same, with the 8th one changing. The concentrator is a 7-story building, and it's the main location of the region and where all the tragedies started. I believe the composer knew of the 7 floors, and it's no coincidence that the theme resembles them, with only the 8th one changing. And here's where it gets even more eerie. The first time, the 8th note is a high note, ascending from the 7 before. However, the second time, the 8th note is the lowest of them all, possibly indicating that the miners got up and all went well for some time, but in the end, and due to the events from the tales, some never left the mines again. I believe that the last part of the song, where it gets more and more intense, is a reference to things getting out of hand and the people losing their minds. And finally, collapse. And what remains is a barren region for a crashed survivor to explore and expose its secrets. I hope you liked my list, and it gave you a new perspective on the music used in the Long Dark. I would absolutely love more themes designated to specific regions, like we got for Blackrock, Ash Canyon, ZOC, and Sunner Pass. Let me know in the comments what region you think they should absolutely make a theme for. See you around, survivors.